we want to solve systems of inequalities here. And the only way we can solve systems of inequalities is by graphing. And so what we're going to do, we're simply going to graph both of these inequalities on the same set of axes. The solution will be where the two graphs overlap. So remember, we're going to be shading here, and so our overlapped shading is going to be our solution. And all those points in the shading will make both of these inequalities true. That's what you're doing. You're finding all the points that make both the equations true, both of the inequalities true. So let's go ahead and start. So we're going to start with this blue one here. Y is greater than or equal to negative 4x plus 1. This is our y-intercept, so that's where it crosses the y-axis. And from there, we're going to use our slope, which is negative 4. We can write it as negative 4 over 1 or 4 over negative 1. And so from there, we could go rise, which is negative 4, so we go down 4 and right 1, or we could have gone up 4 and left 1. When we graph this, we're going to use a solid line because we have the or equal to. And it's a greater than sign, so we're going to shade above. Then let's go ahead and graph this second one. We'll graph this in red. Our y-intercept is negative 2. Our slope is negative, it says negative x. Well, that means a negative 1, so we can think of that as negative 1 over 1 or 1 over negative 1. And so we're going to go down 1, right 1. And we can get these points, or we could go up 1 and left 1. Up 1, left 1. We're again going to use a solid line because it's got the or equal to. And this one we're going to shade below the line. And it doesn't look like there's much. It does, these graphs, remember, go down forever. So where they overlap is here in this section down at the bottom, which doesn't look like a lot, but again, these lines would open up and that all would be shaded in there. So that's our solution, that shaded section down there. Those points in that shaded section would make both of those inequalities true. Let's go to this next one and graph these. Start at negative 2 on the y-axis. Our slope is negative 1. So down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1, and up 1, left 1. So I get these. This is going to be a dashed line because it does not have the or equal to. And it's a less than sign, so we're going to shade below this line. Graphing the next one, we'll graph that in red. We start at 3 on the y-axis. And then we have a slope of negative 6, which we can think of as negative 6 over 1. Down 6. And over 1. Gets us there. This again is a dashed line. And we're going to shade above the line. So once again, it's kind of like the last one. It only has this very small section in which they overlap. They're not always going to be like that, but in these two cases, they were this small section at the bottom. So make sure you graph carefully. You might even want to use a ruler. I didn't, and you can tell that I didn't because it's a little messy, but using a ruler will help you see where the intersection is. So that's graphing inequalities. You want to graph both inequalities, and your solution is where they overlap.